Back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Elliot Grigg and Gregory Doyle. This is a breaking news reaction video to the news that once again Tyson Fury has announced his retirement from the sport of boxing, 3 or so weeks after his consecutive defeat against Alexander Usyk, and a couple of days after a fight between him and Anthony Joshua, which we've all waited the best part of a decade for, looked like it was in the early stages of talks. Gents, obviously we were actually scheduled to talk about something else here, but this has come up, so apologies, but here we are. Um, Greg, give us your instant reaction to the news that we have just seen, please.
Yeah, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, Elliot. As I said off camera, Tyson Fury's done this about 3 times before, but there's got to be a day where he's being genuine and legitimate, but I still don't think this is the time. I think he's going to disappear for a while. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with the belts at heavyweight. Don't be surprised to see Tyson Fury back in the future, but I'm quite shocked it's been announced this quick after AJ's come out and said, it's a fight that he's looking to pursue actively. It's in Turkey Al Sheikh's most wanted fights this year, so slightly shocked at the timing, Elliot.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and also look, he's not kind of, his team haven't hired kind of a graphic designer to put a written statement out. It's him. Looks like he's in his car. So you question how serious it is, and also look, we've had times in the past when he's announced his retirement and then kind of unannounced his retirement fairly quickly after that, after the Dillian White fight, if you two remember. So we've kind of been here before. So obviously you can't blame people for kind of having question marks around whether this is genuine or not. Like Queensberry Promotions themselves have put a tweet out, and the tweet just says in the end of the Gypsy King question mark. So that tweet could have said congratulations on a great career, Tyson Fury, but it kind of your own promoters are questioning if this is true or not. So I think that maybe says something. Elliot Grigg, give us your reaction, please.
Yeah, like Greg said, I'm not surprised to be honest with you, but equally, I totally, I just kind of, I mean, you look at the video, watch the video. Tyson Fury to me still looks a man that's shook from what happened to him by Usyk, frankly, and he seems to be one of the few people that sort of thinks that there was a robbery. To be honest, over there, I don't, he's been beaten twice, been beaten handsomely. No one wants the third fight. I don't know whether there's like you could look at this and go, is it a negotiating tool? Is he trying to sort of get back at Turkey and Saudi and all that sort of stuff for what he thinks was a perceived injustice there? I fully expect, to be honest, the AJ fight to happen. I think, to be honest, if it doesn't happen and he just basically retires in his car in a lay-by somewhere, the damage that will do to his legacy is frankly quite significant. Look at what he's ducked AJ now. AJ's making claims that he wants it. Fury's basically, oh no, I'm retiring. That to me is unfortunately a bit of a duck. So yeah, I'm not surprised that he's done it, but it just looks like a man who's rattled. And like you said, like Queensbury haven't come out there with a polished statement. No one's talking about putting, like highlight reels together and all that sort of stuff, which would be more of a sort of managed retirement announcement. It just looks like, maybe he's gone for a walk with the dog and decided he can't be asked. But I do think underlying it though is a genuine desire for Tyson Fury to retire. I do think previously, I think he actually would quite like to walk away from boxing. Get that impression, to be honest, that he's just not happy kind of whatever he's doing. And sometimes he thinks, "Oh, I need this." Like you said, changes his mind so frequently. But I also feel like he won't be able to stay away from it. And I feel like when people get in his ear and start talking about legacy, and you can't just sort of walk away before you fight, AJ for one fight, you've got a very good chance of winning. I think he'll be back, frankly, on a Saudi card, maybe sometime later this year.
Yeah, for sure. Look, there's a lot more money to be made in the career of Tyson Fury. I personally think the thing that is missing from Fury's career is the Joshua fight. And if that fight had happened, I think there's a good chance that Fury could genuinely retire now, because he could retire and say there's one man which I wasn't able to beat, achieved a lot, made a shed load of money. What else is there for me to do? Whereas in reality, there is something for him to do, this, which is to fight Anthony Joshua. Won't keep you too much longer, chaps. But Greg, I'll go back to you. What do you think happens now with Anthony Joshua? Because what we were kind of being told was that fight could potentially, there was a lot of work to be done in making that fight, but that fight could potentially happen May or June of this year. We now don't really have a clue that could still happen, to be honest, because Fury could kind of change his mind next week. What do you think's going to happen with Anthony Joshua now, with Fury, kind of if that fight doesn't happen in May or June?
This is this is why these videos are so great the way that we do them raw, because that's a question I'm not even ready for. I'm thinking, oh yeah, what does AJ do now? Like for me, the favourite is he's maybe got to jump into the Dubois rematch now. That's really all there is out there for them, isn't it? He's not going to fight Usyk again. There's no point, with the greatest of respect. Other names in the division, there's nothing really that's doing anything for anyone. The big thing for Anthony Joshua is to be three-time heavyweight champion of the world. To do that, he probably has to take on Daniel Dubois again. So it'll be interesting to see the way that the Dubois and Usyk negotiations go, because that could be something that they might now look at. Dubois AJ does more money and change their attention onto that. So for me, I think that's the front runner. But a good question, Ellie, that I'm really not sure.
Yeah, no, put it on you there, but it is a big question because all those videos about Tyson Fury was now being linked with Anthony Joshua, and Joshua is still a massive star in the sport. So it's a question of what happens with him now. Less than 6 weeks to go until Daniel Dubois faces Joseph Park. We'll have to see what happens in that fight, as well. Elliot Grigg, what do you think's going to happen now? Can you still see Joshua Fury happening in May, June time? Do you think actually Fury will kind of retire for a period and we'll see him again in a year, and then maybe finally the Fury Joshua fight can happen? Well, how do you see the landscape over the next few
You
months?
know what, man? I really hope the second thing you outline there doesn't happen. I hope we don't see Fury piss off for a year and AJ kind of limps to a couple of fights. And I think, to be honest, it's weathered now. By that stage, it would be kind of 80-year-old woman on Benidorm sort of skin, the weathering that would have done. But I think, to be honest, I still think Fury AJ will happen. I don't, in a way, I feel like Joshua, even though the Dubai rematch makes sense, I think it's too high risk for him. I don't think he necessarily wants it either. I think, like, don't get me wrong, I think he can win the fight. And obviously, the chance to become world title champion again, I think he will take it. But equally, if he loses that fight, then you're talking about, does he retire? So, in a weird way, it's like, if Parker can somehow come through Dubois, then if I'm AJ, I'm biting his hand off to fight Joe Parker. I think he wins that fight quite convincingly. But if not, I've got Eddie and the boys trying to get Tyson Fury out of retirement ASAP and try and make that fight happen. Because I don't think there's anything out there for him. I don't want to, you know, see him just, kind of limp along with another sort of like the top 10 guys fighting those names like Caballero, Bacoli, all those sort of names that could potentially beat him. Don't think there's anything in there for me either on that. So for me, it's either going to be Dubois Parker winner or Fury, but I actually lean towards Fury if they can sort of get his head right and turn this round.
Yeah. I just like, now that we've kind of digested this a little bit, and it's good to speak to both of you. It's kind of a bit like a counselling session after hearing the news, but it's a little bit. I just can't help but think that Fury has just always been quite difficult, in regards to the Joshua fight. I don't know if the two of you watched At Home with the Furies on Netflix. It was very good, but there was a scene there when he's in contract negotiations with somebody in his team about the Joshua fight finally being made, and he, in my opinion, was clearly didn't want the fight to happen, was putting up every kind of hurdle he could do. Um, got one final question for both of you gents. Elliot, I'll stick with you. In a handful of words or less, will we see Tyson Fury in a ring again? When and who against, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think we will see him in the ring again. I think we'll see him in the ring this year. Frankly, I don't think we need to see him resting. And I think we'll see him in the ring against Anthony Joshua. I really do. I don't think there's any other fight for Tyson Fury than Anthony Joshua. Whether he's trying to angle for kind of a Usyk trilogy on the back of being robbed, don't want to see that. I think it's straight into Joshua, and that's the only fight out there for him.
Okay, fantastic. Greg, what about you?
Yeah, I think we'll see him in the ring again. I think we'll see the Sefery rematch. No, I'm joking. I think we will see. I think we'll see him potentially in Meiji. I'm going to stick with Elliot Greg. I think it's too big a fight not to be made. I think Saudi money will talk, and yeah, I think we'll see Tyson Fury back.
I agree with both of you. However, I just think it will be more of a November, December job rather than May or June, personally. But it's unpredictable. Tyson Fury, kind of, he's obviously quite an unpredictable, eccentric character. We've seen that in his career, and we will see what happens next. By the time we put this video out, something might have changed, so we better put it out before that happens. Elliot, Greg, thank you both very much for your time, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Very much.
Thanks, guys.
Guys. Thank you for watching.